Tēnā koutou katoa, I mihi atu ana kia koutou, Ruanga tira mā, tēnā koutou katoa. I tū mai e te rohi o Ngāi Tahu tuahi riri. Kia nei te whakatoki, tōtu te marae o tānei, tōtu te marae o Tangaroa, tōtu te iwi. Ko ka hautu o te Papatipu o Ngāi Tahu, ko Andrew Priester hau. Oh, good morning, everybody. It's fantastic to be here representing Ngāi Tahu at Grow 2019. What I'd like to do in the small amount of time that I have now is just give a brief introduction to Te Runanga o Ngāi Tahu, the iwi, because that's important for us to think about the framework in which we operate a farming business and a forestry business. I'll then touch on the specific sustainability initiatives that we've got underway, which will then form the basis for the workshop post this session. So Te Runanga o Ngāi Tahu, the Ngāi Tahu people have been in Te Waipounamu, or the South Island, for over 800 years. It's everything south of that white line on the map up there is the rohi, or the takiwā, or the tribal area of Te Runanga o Ngāi Tahu. Big coastline, significant rivers and waterways and natural features that are important to the tribe, particularly from a cultural perspective. The 65,000 registered whānau of Ngāi Tahu, I think that makes them about the fourth largest in terms of population, but certainly the largest in terms of whenua or land. There's 18 what's called Papatipu runanga, so those are effectively the sub-areas of Te Runanga o Ngāi Tahu, and they're spread across that tribal takiwā. And commercial assets of 1.7 billion. To give some relativity to that, 21 years ago in 1997, when Ngāi Tahu settled its treaty with the Crown, that was about $170 million of cash and assets. So the tribe's done a very good job of commercially turning that into a bigger number. The assets cover farming and forestry, commercial property, seafood, honey, tourism, and a number of direct investments by Ngāi Tahu Capital. And all of that, this is a little bit similar to the kōrero from the previous speakers, very much based on the iwi whakatoki or proverb, mō tātou a maka uri a muri aka nei, for us and our children after us. So that very strong, you'll see that same theme of that iwi or that Māori intergenerational long-term way of doing a business. And that has implications on how the subsidiary businesses of Ngāi Tahu are run. So what does that mean specifically for Ngāi Tahu farming? It means that we operate under these 4 po, or quadruple bottom line as we call it. There's He Tau Poike, which is the financial piece, which funds what we do, the cash flow from operations, all of the normal financials that you'd expect in an organisation. There's what we call He Tangata Marae, Kia Hoki Ora Atu is our health and safety program. As you probably know, agriculture and forestry don't exactly adorn themselves in glory when it comes to the health and safety stats, so that's a big focus for us. Development of whānau, building the communities that we're involved in, and then He Ringa Huti Para, all our sustainability initiatives, which is the main thrust of today's kōrero. And wrapped around that is what we call manawa Ngāi Tahu, or the values of Ngāi Tahu. So that's the operational and framework and strategic framework that we operate to. One of the unique features too of not just Ngāi Tahu, but I'm sure other Māori businesses, is the range of stakeholders that you have to deal with. A lot of what we do involves a group called mana whenua, and mana whenua are essentially the kaumātua of the Papatipu runanga in which we operate. So for us, that's largely Ngāti Kuri, the Kaikoura region, and Ngāi Tuahuriri, which is the Canterbury Plains area with their marae around near Kaiapoi. And that liaison, if you like, or that relationship goes very much into formulating what comes under these aspects, particularly the social side, particularly the sustainability side, and then how that interacts with the values. So mana whenua is a group that we regularly meet with, and they have shaped both the development of the business that we have and some of the ongoing ways in which we operate. So the particular focus today is really on the He Ringa Huti Para. We've got 3 themes in Ngāi Tahu farming and forestry that we explore. Sustainability of water and soil is one, restoration and biodiversity is another, and climate change, which is sort of really the new horizon for us, is the third piece. And we have some very specific goals and some very specific work within the He Ringa Huti Para context. The first is we want to use less water and leach less nitrate, and I've said there to push the boundaries of best practice. So we're not saying better than our consent or better than good management practice, we're saying to push the boundaries of best practice. The second very specific goal we have is re-establishing biodiversity by replanting 1.2 million trees by 2030 across some of the properties that we have. And thirdly, reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 29% by 2030. I think we're the first and still the only farming business to have signed the Climate Leaders Coalition, and the Te Runanga group has, so we've followed as one of the subsidiaries, and that's the new frontier for us, if you like. So the idea in the workshop is that we've got some data that we can share around these 3 aspects. We would very much like a good kōrero to develop, so that's a good interchange of ideas from the audience. I'll have a couple of colleagues up on stage with me to help answer the questions if you choose to stay with this session, because the others are very interesting as well. And I'm hoping that what we'll get out of that is everyone learning something so that we move more towards the true definition of sustainability in our agricultural sector. I'll make the point now that we aren't the experts in this at all. We've got some things that we think are going well, and we've got some things that are a real challenge and we're struggling with, and getting attendees' feedback on that would be fantastic as well. What we are doing though is that we're doing what we can to offset some of the impact that we have in line with our values and in line with that intergenerational whakatoki that I outlined at the start. So kia ora tātou, thank you, and I hope to see some of you in about 6 minutes, I think. Kia ora.